Look at these ticket prices. Are you out of your fucking mind? $6,000 for one seat of a one-night event? How many kidneys are people selling to go see WWE today? Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Is Now Shitty podcast. I am Dr. Legend, joined as always with my esteemed colleague, Midnight.
I am the voice of the voiceless, and you will apologize and show me some respect. Oh, sorry, wrong promo. What was my intro supposed to be again?
It's good to be back, buddy. How you doing? How you been?
It's been a good week, man. Some really good wrestling. I actually finally got a Max subscription without ads because it was killing me, and I actually have been catching up on some AEW, as a matter of fact.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So I did. I watched the tail end of Raw this week, and before we kind of dig into stuff, I want to mention something. I watched the Jey Uso and Braun Breaker match. Did you watch that match between Jey Uso and Braun at the end of Raw?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I think Braun getting a main event on Raw against a former champion like Jay, who's still getting a big push. It's good to see. It's good to see new talents coming up.
And I know we had touched upon it in our first episode. You know, the guys using the spear, but that spear that Jey Uso did on Braun to end the main event. What the hell was that? Like,
dude, he has gotten so sloppy.
It is so dangerous the way he does this. I swear he's the only guy in wrestling that leads with his head doing a spear. Everyone else, you're supposed to do it with your shoulder. It's a tackle. Okay, when you look at everyone who's used a spear, and the greatest who's used a spear, in my opinion, is still Goldberg. It's a tackle. It's a football tackle. And of course, Goldberg's is the best because he played professional football. That's what he did. And it looked really, really brutal. But he hits him going in with his shoulder. Shoulder first, head in the armpit. When Jay does it, he jumps in the air and it looks like he headbutts him in the chest. And then he turns 90 degrees because when he lands, it's almost in a pinfall position. And it's so weird seeing him do this move and making it look devastating. Like when Braun got pinned by it, I was shocked. Like what? Like Jay looked like he took more damage doing that spear than Braun did, and it's a shame because when Braun, I love the Braun windup. He finally, some guy took the spear because so many other guys do it, and you know, like Edge does the spear, Roman does the spear. I think one of the other Samoans was doing the spear for a while. Rhino's gore was really, really good. But Braun finally took the spear and did something unique with it. No one had that long running windup and the tackle. And something he does a front flip and something can land almost on his feet when he does it. It's fantastic. That looks devastating. Jey Uso's looks painful and not for his opponent, which is a problem. And he should stop doing that move.
Well, the problem with Jay is that one, he's a lighter guy. He's not a heavyweight guy. And two, ever since he got the big push, he has gotten sloppy. He has really, really been nervous in that ring. Like the best we ever saw him was WrestleMania 39 against Sammy and Kevin Owens. That was the best Jey Uso you ever saw. And ever since Triple H said, "I'm going to stick a rocket on your back," he's been sloppy. He was sloppy against Gunther. He blows up too easy because he gets too excited. Somebody's got to pull him aside, just tell him, you got to kind of calm down, right? Like even Hogan calmed down. He's like, okay, I can take it slow, right? I can milk this, but he's still trying to be that athletic Jey Uso, and it's just coming off as sloppy.
Yeah, it's really weird when I hear that, you know, his moniker main event Jey Uso. Like the matches I see from him are not main event caliber, and I think he has the personality to do it, but not the technical like prowess in the sense of looking like a main eventer in that ring. And if anything, look at his match between his brother. I don't know if there's a curse between brother versus brother matches at WrestleMania, except for Brett. No, there was the first and the best. But everyone else after that was awful. But yeah, you know, going forward, Please stop doing the spear, Jay. It looks okay. Well,
Yeah.
with that being said, let's turn on the old Boomertron and go into our first story. And
Ooh.
this one, big exciting news. Old classic legend favorite, Chris Jericho's AEW deal ends at the end of this year. And the rumor is he's eyeing a return to WWE. That is seemingly big news, but for me, I feel very indifferent about this. And the reason is I've caught Chris Jericho clips on AEW, and I have to tell you, I am not impressed. And it seems like the fans aren't either. It's almost like he's getting old, tired, and stale, and his act is boring. And I'll give Chris credit. He always tries to find a way to reinvent himself and do something fun and interesting, but I don't think this is it. And the unfortunate thing for me is when I think of Chris Jericho, I only think he's had two fantastic runs in the WWE. His 2008 return when he turned heel and started talking, so that was amazing. And Jericho in the list. And despite his, technically it's the second list because his first list was actually the best list when he was going against Dean Malenko and he busted out his 4,004 holds. Original list. That was the best list, Jericho. But no, the list of Jericho, that was him and Kevin Owens. Fantastic work. That I love those two eras of Jericho. But other than that, how long has he been in the business? And those are his two kind of biggest, I don't want to say claims to fame, but he has had great promos. He's had some really amazing matches and stuff. But to me, like, the draw is how good is your longevity and how good is your storytelling and getting people to watch you day in and day out, not just one or two matches at WrestleMania.
So the problem with Jericho now is that he's 54 years old, and you just can't perform at the level that he was performing back in 1998, 1999, even early 2000s. Chris Jericho, he's just not that guy anymore. He's basically like Terry Funk was in ECW. He came into AEW to kind of legitimize it, but the problem is that I think he's overstayed his welcome. But if he wants to go to WWE, and maybe do like a spot match or maybe some kind of dream match or something like that, I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I just don't know if this is really as big of like it's really fun news to go, okay, where's Jericho gonna sign? But he's also older, so it's not gonna hurt AEW if he leaves, and it's not gonna make WWE any better if he comes over. So to me, I'm just kind of like, meh, what's he really gonna bring? Not much.
100% agree. Honestly, I think it'd be more fun for him to come into a more of a Heyman role where he's leading the group as their main mouthpiece. Because he can still talk. But in the ring, he's not moving as great. And I'm afraid they're gonna do another situation like Kurt Angle in his last match against Baron Corbin. No fault to Baron Corbin, but that's not the guy you put in Kurt Angle's last match. Even though Kurt wasn't moving as good as he should have been, Kurt couldn't go like he could have gone, but give him somebody memorable. I don't know could you pick someone on the roster right now that you'd want to see Jericho go against in WWE?
Like a veteran or a new blood?
Either. Like right now, what would you pay money to see Jericho go in WWE?
I would love to see him and Punk have a feud because they can both talk you into that match.
But Punk can go way harder than Jericho could. And that match would not look good.
No, Punk isn't as fast as he used to be, but yeah, they could still make that match interesting. Their match at WrestleMania 28, I believe, or is it 28 or 29, was really good. And that's probably the only compelling matchup just because I feel like the mic work would be phenomenal. You put those two on the microphone and Jericho can find a way to spin his character to really attack CM Punk, and CM Punk can really be like, you've become exactly what you hated in WCW. You've become Hulk Hogan. You're the old guy that doesn't want to stick around, that wants to stick around and pad your pension and blah 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 blah.
That,
So yeah, I think
that's
what do you
exactly
think?
the vibe I get. Hey, how pissed do you think WWE audience would be if Jericho came in and took Punk's Rumble win?
Oh yeah, that
Or
it's not gonna
worse,
happen, but
worse yet, he and Punk eliminate each other and they do the stupid, oh, we eliminate each other in the Rumble match and now we gotta fight.
Yep. Yep. Now we fight at WrestleMania, but then again, those promos would be great.
It'd be a great promo, but I think everyone's dying to see Punk go to the real main event at WrestleMania. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but at the end of the day, I'm not losing any sleep over this decision or deal.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else should either.
All right, going on to other news, guess who might, or they're talking about maybe bringing it back? Alberto Del Rio. I can't believe they are even flirting with this, with the bad blood between these two guys. But apparently he got so over going at Triple Mania, they were chanting his name, and they're forcing Triple H to take notice and make a comment on it.
It's interesting because, once again, Triple H brought Punk back. And if Triple H can bring Punk back, he could bring Alberto Del Rio back. And if there's one thing Triple H learned, and even Ultimate Warrior, he was the one that reached out to Ultimate Warrior to bring him back for the Hall of Fame. And Ultimate Warrior pissed off Triple H at WrestleMania 12. So, like I said, never say never in wrestling, especially in WWE. I think it's interesting. It's a nice little tidbit. If you put Alberto Del Rio in AAA, holy smokes, man, it's going to be crazy.
Well, I didn't catch Triple Mania, this event itself, but I did see the highlights, and my favorite highlight has to come from my new favorite wrestler currently in WWE. Did you see El Grande Americano's entrance at Triple Mania?
I did not, and I'd love. Maybe we'll get my live reaction to it.
All right, let's pop it on. Look at that. He's giving his hand away to the fans. They're taking it. They love this guy.
You want to know why? Because they understand he's a heel. They understand this is wrestling.
Who comes out singing their own song with a mariachi band? Oh, the best part is yet to come, my friend.
Lindo los corazones.
Wait for it.
Porque cantando se alegra Lindo, lindo los
I listen to that reaction. So when I had first heard of El Grande Americano, the IWC was just spitting vitriol. Oh, this guy it's a racist gimmick. This guy is evil. He said he's from the Gulf of America instead of the Gulf of Mexico. How dare he? And he's an offensive stereotype. And why is WWE even allowing this? And yet, the very people he is supposed to be offending are cheering him and singing along with him. Exactly like you said, they understand the gimmick. Let me tell you, IWC right here, okay? My very Mexican wife hates El Grande Americano, okay? She doesn't like him at all. She thinks he sucks, and she hopes he loses every match. But she is not offended by him, and that is the key difference, because he's a heel and he's good at what he does. So if you are offended on behalf of another race or anyone else, and that other race isn't offended at all, go screw yourself. Shove it up your ass. They don't care. They understand the gimmick. Let it die and just boo him like everybody else does, because he's the heel. And if you're still mad or upset about El Grande Americano being in WWE and getting any sort of screen time or push, go fuck yourself. He is amazing.
Well, it's a very good point because I think wrestling, just like stand-up comedy, is a performance, right? And I think it's like the one outlet where we just get to kind of explore, different funny ideas. I mean, WWE had Muhammad Hassan, we had, the Iron Sheik. We've had all these great characters really, get the emotion out of us. And El Grande Americano is one of the best gimmicks they've had in a long time for like a mid card talent. I think it's hilarious. I think the funniest thing ever was El Grande Americano's entrance at WrestleMania. And then you sending me that text saying, Leisha, your wife says, what's this racist shit going on at WWE?
Yeah. I mean, she was being facetious about that because she was upset about him being on there. But at the end of the day, like, what is exactly racist about it? He's not saying, "Oh, luchadors suck." Oh, saying
It's not a parody of Mexicans. It's a parody of Lucha Libre.
And not only that, he's saying he's the best one. He's just saying, guess what? Mexico is in North America. Well, what do you want him to do? He's El Grande Americano, the big American. Leave him be and just sit back and enjoy it, okay? All right, he's doing fantastic work, and I can't wait to buy all of his shirts in English and Spanish. Okay, well, going back to Raw, this was a big moment. The Vision promo and Paul Heyman returning to Philadelphia and cutting, of course, a promo that only Paul Heyman could. But this is something, since you're the resident ECW historian and you follow, that was your baby company back in the Attitude Era. Now you know everything about this. I want to play this clip and I want you to clear something up for me because I don't know what the whole story is, because he's saying from the great Sabu, he's talking about all the ECW originals, everything, and then he gets to this.
In the name of the late, great Tommy Dreamer. Yeah, I know he's not dead yet, but he should be.
Where did that come from? Like, did they stop being friends? Do they hate each other? There's a bit of a story I know, but I'm hoping you can elaborate.
So Tommy Dreamer made a confession a couple years ago, and right when ECW folded and then WCW folded and then Paul went to Raw, and all of a sudden, Paulie's commentating on WrestleMania. There's some ECW guys that are going to be at WrestleMania, and Tommy Dreamer kind of felt like he got shafted, right? ECW was his baby. He had vested, he was basically the booker at the end of the last like 6-7 months of ECW. He was the one running the show. He felt so betrayed that he actually gamed out a plan to bring a gun to WrestleMania 17, shoot and kill Paul Heyman live on air, and then himself.
What?
Yes, that was his plan.
Yeah.
So that's what he's referring to. Obviously, he didn't go through with it because Jim Ross called him about maybe getting an opportunity to participate in the invasion.
Please don't kill yourself. I have a job offer.
Yeah. You'll probably have to edit. You have to say unalive. My bad. We have to say unalive. Can't say that word anymore. So yeah, you have to. You can't say unalive. But yes, that is the story, and that's kind of what he was referring to. Because Paul Heyman's Paul Heyman is that guy that's going to keep poking you until you hit his hand away and tell him to stop. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to fucking poke and poke and poke and poke and just get that reaction out of you.
So are him and Tommy on bad terms, or is it just that, was it a joke, or is it being like half serious? Is this a half shoot, or what's going on?
I don't know if they're on bad terms or not. But I think it was him being a little bit more facetious than it was maybe being on bad terms. But let me check that out. Let me do some research on that one.
Okay, I'd like to follow up on that because that came out of nowhere, and I was quite shocked when I heard it, because I thought of all the people, Tommy would be his best boy, like, because he helped like carry the company at the very end of ECW, and to hear that, I'm like, how did they get sour? But that story you said about WrestleMania 17, that blows my mind, and almost did that to Heyman as well. You say that?
Oh. Actually, I've actually got an update. Tommy
Oh.
Dreamer thought that part of the promo was hilarious and likes the fact that he was trending on Twitter because of it.
It's the last time he ends up on WWE. Heyman also, I wanted to bring this up as well because this is something we didn't touch on on our first episode because we had so much to talk about and not a lot of showtime to do it. But Heyman comments on the was it RL Helwani podcast about the John Cena heel turn, and as he brings it up real quick, I want to play this clip.
Character the Friday night before SummerSlam.
Fair. That's 100% fair, but I think it just kind of like put the nail in the coffin because there were some people after that promo who said like, maybe he's trying to swerve him, all this stuff. But yes, that's 2 days prior. Here's the thing. You say abandon. So how would you assess it? How did it go? Now that it's essentially come and gone, this thing that we had talked about for so many years, what would John Cena be like as a heel? How would you assess that 5-month period? Was it a mistake to turn him?
No.
Did it go as you thought it would?
No.
Okay, I think Paul is being extremely generous here.
Yes, he is.
When the heel turn happened at Elimination Chamber, I had to suffer the wrath of the IWC as they clamored and said this was the greatest heel turn of all time. And I'm staring in utter disbelief, thinking, am I the only one not taking crazy pills here? Did anyone not see what I just saw? It was a heel turn, but far from it the greatest of all time. And it was supposed to build to this big culminating moment, allegedly. And it literally petered out in a single promo before a match at SummerSlam and then died a death that no one talked about ever again. Can anyone consider that the greatest heel turn of all time?
Well, I don't think it was the greatest heel turn of all time. I think it was a very interesting and long-awaited heel turn. I think that's part of the problem. And I don't know if you're going to play the rest of the clip, but essentially, we have all wanted to see a John Cena heel turn since probably 2005, early 2006. People were clamoring for a John Cena heel turn because we kind of didn't like seeing him as a face. And I think that when he turned heel and his first promo, I think it was in Germany or wherever it was in Europe, and they just booed the heck out of him. And he finally unleashed all of I've been in an abusive relationship with all of you people for so long. The problem is that at least the fans in North America have been waiting for that heel turn for so long that we were enjoying John Cena as a heel. You're not supposed to enjoy a heel. You're supposed to hate a heel. And because we had been wanting it and clamoring for so long, it couldn't last very long because we were happy to see it. And then it's no longer a heel turn. It's kind of a oxymoronic situation.
I think thanks to the Attitude Era, we clamor for the heels that we enjoy watching to turn face, but we turn them face because we enjoy them versus them doing something, being like a good guy or whatnot.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Raven said on this old podcast that I listened to like 20 years ago, he was talking about being a good heel. And he says the first part about being a good heel is heels have to be really good on the microphone. And the problem with really good heels is that sooner or later, the fans are just going to start to respect you because heels have to win a lot of matches and they talk really well. And after a while, the fans are just going to go, this guy, he's doing a really good job. He's getting our baby faces over, like Razor Ramon, right? Like we kind of like you, man. You're kind of cool, because sometimes heels can be kind of cool because they do the things that we kind of want to see people do. We kind of like, that's why The Sopranos and The Shield are like two of the most lauded television shows of all time. But Vic Mackey and Tony Soprano are psychotic murderers.
I have to say, this might be the most overbooked heel turn of all time, which led to its ultimate failure because you included two non-full-time talents in there, The Rock and Travis Scott, both of which really had nothing no reason
nothing to
being
offer.
involved this. They could have done it a regular way. Look, if you guys are wondering what a good John Cena heel turn would have been, this is my envisioned moment for the John Cena heel turn. I think this is what everyone's going to see. John Cena, what's his motto? Hustle, loyalty, and respect. Well, he could have gone out there, betrayed Cody, and said, come on, the next day on Raw, like, look, you guys are upset about what I did. You guys should have read the writing on the walls. This was a long time coming. I always talk about hustling. Every day I come out here in this ring, I bust my ass every time in this ring to be the best. I'm a 16-time world champion because of it. All I did was hustle. And loyalty, I dedicated myself. I did every show. I was at everything. I was not a part-time champion. I was not a part-time performer. I was here every day. And respect, all I asked for was a bit of it from you, and you gave me nothing. So I am no longer going to bust my ass for you. I am no longer going to respect or be loyal to your fans, and I'm certainly not going to respect you. Because the only thing I need to respect is myself, because I'm the best. And he could have come out like that and strong, and that would have been the ultimate John Cena heel, because instead of fighting for the fans, he's now only cared about himself. In the same sense, and not very similarly, but not exactly, like Hulk did when he became Hollywood Hogan. Hogan came out there and said, I did everything for you guys. I did all the fan stuff, and you guys booed me. You guys had the gall to boo Hulk Hogan. And
that's true. But also he could have turned it the same way Hulk did, where he said, you know what? Everything I was doing was an act. I got a mansion in Massachusetts. Every time you buy my shirt, you make me money. I'm in this for the money, and you people are gonna feed me more. And just kind of go, you what? You son of a bitch! You were lying. And it's like, yeah, that's right. I was giving you the thumbs up and the middle finger underneath the table, buddy.
both of those ideas are better than what we received. And they have the gall to say the Cena heel turn was the best of all time, or even one of the best. I would argue it was one of the worst heel turns of all time, because there was
disagree.
no payoff.
I disagree. I think we did get a payoff. We did get a payoff.
It was a promo that turned him back face.
No. We actually got a really good SummerSlam main event out of the heel turn. We did.
No, that main event came out of Cody winning King of the Ring. He just got a title match. It had nothing to do with Cena being a heel. All Cody said was, look, I want the real John Cena. I want you at your best. And Cena's like, okay, I'm face again. Let's do it. Do.
No, but that wouldn't have happened if he didn't have the heel turn, because there would have been, if he didn't turn heel, he doesn't win the belt at WrestleMania, and then he doesn't challenge at SummerSlam. So I think that it culminating, because see, like without the heel turn, he doesn't turn back and give you a pretty good main event match at SummerSlam. It was a damn good match. It's probably the best John Cena match I've ever seen, minus the Umaga match at Royal Rumble 2007. But the heel turns have to have a long-term impact, and this one, it gave us a couple of moments that will kind of live forever on, like, YouTube clips. But it's not compared to some of the better heel turns, like Chris Jericho or Hulk Hogan or things of that nature.
My favorite moment of the John Cena heel turn is when Cena, during him and his Randy, before his Randy match, where he calls some kid in the audience a loser, and he goes, oh great, some 6-year-old is giving me the finger. That was the best moment for me. Like I said, okay, if John does this and he carries this out, but I wanted some kind of payoff. And when they built up The Rock being involved and Travis Scott being a part of it for some reason, and none of it came to fruition, they just both kind of were uninvolved completely after their appearances at Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. Like, what was the point? And allegedly it was because Travis Scott had scheduling conflicts, so they couldn't write him in. Look, if you're going to do something as big as turn John Cena heel, make a fucking plan. Because they went in this with their heads up their asses, thinking all we have to do is turn him heel and it'll print money. And the sad thing is, the one heel turn we were waiting for, the big John Cena moment, I think will just be a blip on his career, and looked at overall as, makes a better face than a heel, and that's it, which is a damn shame because Hogan, arguably the biggest baby face of all time, is also arguably the biggest heel of all time with Hollywood Hogan, and it could have been something monumental and impactful as that, but they just failed to deliver. I think under this direction, I think Triple H is really working for the impressions. And I work in marketing, and for me, and what we do is we always look at how many people are viewing what we do, how many people are reacting to what we do, and we can use that as a metric to measure potential success. Doesn't always translate it, but it is perceived that way. And I think that's the way they're kind of running the company now. Like, what can we do to trend online to get people looking at us? Because the more people that look at us could equate to more people buying our product, going to our main event, live events, watching us on watching our PLEs and things.
Yeah, and just to close, just a quick search that I did on YouTube. There are over 10 million views spread across WWE, USA, and ESPN YouTube channels of John Cena's heel turn. 10 million views, and that's the name of the game in 2025. It's impressions, and I think you're where you work is right to look at impressions, and sometimes you have to kind of make those moments to get eyes on your product, kind of like the Mike Tyson thing, right? The Mike Tyson incident with Stone Cold got a lot of views on Sports Center, and all of a sudden WrestleMania 14 does better. Kind of the name of the game.
But how much of it do you think is going to be starting to cry wolf? Because if you're trending all the time, or you're screaming about stuff happening all the time and making these big moments, but the big moments aren't paying off, how many times people are just going to go, oh, they're doing what again? Oh, what's going on?
Well, this was in a different case because remember, John Cena is retiring, right? So if you're gonna do it, now's the time because it would have had less negative impact on. Because like, how much is this really going to impact WWE's bottom line? The fact that this heel turn didn't last as long as it could have. It's not going to hurt it very much. They got a main event with John Cena and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and they got a main event at SummerSlam, and I'm pretty sure that it sold well tickets and probably got a lot of views, and obviously they got a lot of impressions on social media. So I think it accomplished what it needed to accomplish, which was to, continue the momentum. Because I think WWE, we're going to look back at like 2022 to about now and go, this 3-year period, they're peaking. And I think Triple H realized maybe we're plateauing. So I need to shoot, give it a shot in the arm to get us back in the increasing our momentum. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm indifferent about it. I know the name of wrestling, it's really difficult to do and plan long-term booking because every week you have to do something, and if it works you can keep going, but if something you planned for, tried it didn't work, then you have to pivot, and all of a sudden your long-term storytelling is thrown away. And or injuries can also do that, scheduling conflicts, things like that can change your long-term booking plans. I know it's difficult to do that. I just think to do something as monumental as to turn John Cena heel after all this time, they should have planned properly. They could have made it really, really epic. Not as epic as the IWC would lead you to believe it was, but properly epic. As good as it was, I was like, oh, John Cena turned heel? Okay, let's see where he goes. Versus, oh my God, they turned John Cena heel. Like, the same thing happened, but there are two different reactions, and that would be based upon presentation. And I think, honestly, they ultimately failed. It's unfortunate, and I just hope that the last half of his retirement tour goes off a little bit better and he gets a proper send-off. As much as I dislike the John Cena character, like I've always have, but it's been more entertaining watching him now than it ever has been, which is a good thing, I think.
And now he looks like he's got Brock Lesnar to work with, so you get another nice marquee matchup probably for Survivor Series.
I know we'll talk about this later, but I want to go back to this maybe in future episodes. Final opponent for John Cena going to be December 13th at Saturday Night's Main Event. Who would you pick? You know what I was thinking?
He's already wrestled Punk.
When does Jericho's contract actually expire? What if he rolls up in a dump truck and goes, John, I'm here for my revenge?
That's actually a good one.
And what if they exit John in the dump truck? Jericho did.
Yeah.
I know they wouldn't, but like,
That'd be hilarious.
dream booking scenario.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know who they should put him up against. It needs to be a big marquee name, someone that maybe he's worked with in the past. He's already kind of worked with Punk. It looks like he's working with Brock again. So who knows? Who knows? I'm actually at a loss.
Whoever he's working with, I mean, he has to put him over because your last match, you always got to stare at the lights. Who would need that rub of anybody? The only one I could think of who's starting to get a rocket strapped to him would be Dominic, but at the end of the day, I think Braun would be the best pick for that. They need to do something with him because currently he's a jobber to the stars for the Vision, which sucks.
Yeah, I don't know if it should be a younger guy because remember, like even Cody at WrestleMania went way too fast for John and made him look silly, and then he had to kind of slow down in SummerSlam to kind of make him look good. So I honestly think it should probably, I don't know if anybody needs the rub of being John's last opponent. I think that John honestly deserves an opponent that's going to um that I think people want to see him face as opposed to someone that could be boosted. That's why I was like, well, maybe he should work with Punk or Roman or just someone with a big name to go out with. That's just my opinion.
I got it. Bring back Baron Corbin, Legend Killer 2.0.
Oh God. Oh, God.
I took out Angle. Now I took out Cena. And guess what? My dad was Triple H's doctor, and he's out too.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Okay. Let's moving on. The world's worst kept secret for a week. Naomi drops the women's championship and announces her pregnancy with Jimmy Uso. Congratulations. It's amazing. I know they've been allegedly been trying for a while and it happened. A lot of people were like, did you see like Rikishi was like, hey, like, I think it's a dumb thing to do while you're getting a push. But I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. This is something amazing and something lovely. Like, you and I both are fathers, and being a dad, and the first time you hear your wife is pregnant, it's an amazing thing. And it gave me butterflies when I first found out. Same thing when I saw my son being born. It was an amazing moment, and there's nothing in my career, even if I was in WWE and a champion, that would want to take that away from them. But like, to hear Rikishi say that about his own kin, that came out of left field. But I feel like that guy's been saying anything to try to stay relevant here. I mean, what are your thoughts
About the whole pregnancy, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super happy. I Anybody that wants to have a kid, I'm glad that she's having a kid. I think it sucks that her heel run is coming to a short end. But then again, look who we're going to get in like 20-25 years. We're going to get another member of the Inouye family that's going to be in WWE, man. So I can't wait to see the little guy or the little gal come out and start wrestling just like their mom and dad did. So I think it's great. I think it's a good little story. But I'm going to miss Naomi. Yeah, no, once again, it was obviously, it was pretty clear that she was pregnant, because if she had violated the wellness program, they would have suspended her. And if it was a medical issue, she would have they would have made an angle out of it, like if she hurt herself.
I think they should, because apparently she was 7 weeks pregnant at WrestleMania. I saw a clip of her match, and Io was like stepping on her stomach over. They should like have her come back, and Io was like, "I'm here to finish the job." Do the finger pointing thing, like But that begs the question, and this is something that happens often in wrestling. You have a new star, a really cool person. You just want to strap a rocket to their ass and shoot them to the moon. And right now, a lot of people talking about Stephanie Vakir and wanting her to be the next women's champion. And I find her plenty entertaining. I think she's fun to watch. But honestly, like, God, this is the IWC at it again. They get someone hot, and the first thing they want to do is like, well, put the title on her, put the strap on her, and she will carry the company to the moon. Like, she hasn't even been in a marquee program yet, and they want to put a belt on her. It's this idea that, hey, because I love her so much and she's so fun to watch, well, you have to make her champion. Like, they don't think about marketing or promotion or anything like that. You remember Punk's first run as World Heavyweight Champion? I'm sure a lot of people love to see him, but can you name every opponent he faced? I mean, it was so bad, they had to just take the belt off of him. Like, he didn't lose a match. They were just like, oh, he's injured. He can't defend the belt, so he loses it.
Do you know the only two people in like modern WWE history that they were able to put a belt on very quickly that didn't sputter out? Kurt Angle and Brock. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, they both won within their first year. But like, you're talking about two extraordinarily talented individuals, like literally world-class talented individuals that did this. Stephanie Vaquer is nowhere near that level.
Nope.
Honestly.
No, and this is just another case of just, that's why I'm so glad you're exposing the IWC Twitter feed, because they do a really good job of exposing the nonsense, because then again, I used to feel the same way back in 2005. I remember going on internet forums going, Austin Aries needs to go to WWE and win the title and blah, 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 blah. Just stupid crap like that, right?
Yeah, when you're young, and it also kind of points out the age of the IWC. When you're young, all you care about is your favorites being recognized and people loving them as much as you love them. And it's a very infantile way of looking. It's not bad, but it's just naive. And I think Hulk Hogan really taught us, like, look, that act gets stale and you don't want to see that very often. I think that's why people turned on John, because John became the new Hulk Hogan. He lost his edge. The thing that made him cool, because he was a heel that got turned face by the fans. He didn't change anything else about him. He just became beloved. And then they said, hey, that rapping stuff, that's no longer what you're going to do. You can't do this. You can't make fun of people this way. You're just going to be white, bland, boring babyface John Cena, and you're never going to lose. And the fans turned on him, rightfully so. And in the same sense, look, whatever you guys are thinking, to take a step back, really look at who you're chatting about and who you're thinking about when you want to push them, because that's a huge burden on them. They have to basically become a face of the company. They hold this prestigious title, and with that prestige, they have to hold up the company and their respective divisions on them. And can someone like Stephanie Vaquer do that right now? Absolutely not. And she shouldn't have to. Could she do it someday? Absolutely. Give her time. Let her develop, breathe, take a breath. The stories grow, because the love you're feeling now can spread and grow to many other folks as she develops and becomes potential top tier talent.
Well, I think the biggest thing right now is maturity, both from the fans and both from the young stars. You have to understand is that there's a reason why people like Punk and Edge and Christian and those guys, it takes time for them to really get over. And it's because part of what wrestling fans appreciate, and that we don't know this, it's subconscious, is we appreciate longevity. Like Mark Henry, it took Mark Henry, I mean, he was never hated, but like towards 2006, 2007, 2008, he started to get just over, just based off the fact that the fans just respected the fact that he had been there for so long and was putting in so much work for them. And another point is that, like I said, when we were young kids, we liked Hulk Hogan, but the older kids didn't like Hulk Hogan. They liked the guys that were lower on the card, that they wanted to see them get boosted up, because they felt like, oh, if the younger kids like Cody Rhodes and Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, I can't, so I have to like the other ones and boost them up, because those kids, those little stupid kids, don't know what they're talking about.
If you had told me in 1999 that Sexual Chocolate would be a world champion.
And he's over.
Yeah, exactly.
He was over.
You know what? Even with a shit ass gimmick, you can, if you're talented enough with the right story, you can get over. And I think it's put. there's the potential everywhere, but I think you got to let it breathe. It can't happen overnight unless you are top tier, top 0.1% in the world kind of level talent. So don't put the burden on her, guys. Take it easy. Watch her grow.
Exactly. Give her time.
All right. Well, let's move on to the main topic for the show. Our first episode back already. I didn't think we'd be talking about this for at least a few weeks, but shots fired. WWE and ESPN's first premium live event, scheduled originally to debut in January of 26, now moved to September 20th, 2025, with the glorious name that they didn't pull out of their ass, WrestlePalooza. Holy crap. What happened?
This is what I think happened. I think ESPN, like they just launched, like if you're watching this, it launched 2 days ago, their new unlimited service. And I think they felt like, hey, listen, we need to jumpstart this. We need an event. The UFC did this when they went to Fox. Their Fox contract didn't start till 2012, but they did a special a couple of months before just to kind of whet the appetite. And I think that this is what this is. ESPN's like, hey, let's just get a show in. Let's break the ice. And so that way maybe if there's technical difficulties with their app or something, they can kind of smooth them out. Also, it's also slated to compete with another show. And why don't you go ahead and show us our next clip?
Somebody put me in a time machine because I woke up in 1987, and much like Mr. Vince McMahon himself, who said, you know what, fuck Starrcade, I'm going to give you this shitty tag team pay-per-view. I'm going to call it the Survivor Series because teams of 5 strive to survive. And we're going to put it up against Starrcade a week before they aired. And if you air their show, we're not going to let you buy Survivor Series or any of our other pay-per-views for the rest of the year because WrestleMania is going to be big. Remember that. Holy crap. All Out from AEW and WrestlePalooza on the same freaking night. And did you ever think you'd see something like this?
I did. I think that WWE, with a legitimate documented working relationship with TNA and buying AAA, it's pretty clear what they're doing. They're going after their throats. And if you look, I want you to look at those two images. What is AEW All Out Toronto? AEW All Out Toronto is going to be live on pay-per-view, which means you're going to have to pay, how much are AEW pay-per-views? 40, 50 bucks?
I couldn't tell you. I've never seen, like, other
I've
than
never
the
bought
first
one.
paper. Yeah, I've watched the first pay-per-view streamed, like, on YouTube or some matches from it. Like the Cody Rhodes when he busted up the throne and shit like that. That's and his match against Dustin, but that was it.
They're $50. I just looked it up. They're
Wow.
$50. And if you have ESPN right now on cable, like if it's part of your DirecTV, you're getting WrestlePalooza for free. If you're like me and you want it unlimited because you don't have cable, it's costing me $30, but I'm also getting all this other stuff on ESPN that I like. What are you going to choose?
I mean, either way, WWE is still the far superior product. Like, yeah, they have there's a few names on there, and I'll give them credit. I think I saw Edge and Christian reuniting on previous AEW show. I don't know if it's going to culminate in a match or something at All Out or whatever, but like the marquee of former top WWE guys headlining this show and doing something. I mean, they got to think of something to be competitive. And honestly, like you, I'm all for this because WWE was at its best when their competition was at their best. When their competition sucked, they sucked. Do you remember WCW in the 2000? In the year 2000? It was terrible. And guess what? WWE wasn't that great either. Can name one match from WrestleMania 2000 that wasn't the main event, the McMahon in every corner. The only one I can think of is the triple threat. There was a ladder match?
The TLC, the ladder match between the Dudleys, Hardys, and Edge and Christian.
That was at SummerSlam.
They did one at WrestleMania 2000 as well.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh my god. See, that's how I can't remember WrestleMania 2000, all I remember it being just a really crappy WrestleMania because the product wasn't that great. Because when your competition's not fierce and strong, you don't feel you need to be fierce. I don't need to be super great. I just need to be a little bit better than them. I don't need to be here. I just need to be here. And it causes stagnation. It causes laziness. And I'm not one of those guys, AEW should die. They should go out of business, blah, blah, blah. I want the best for AEW. I want them to be competitive because it makes WWE's product better. It makes wrestling product generally all better. I mean, I hope they do something that makes me want to tune in, but right now I don't really give a crap about their talent and stars. I think like some of the stuff we were saying about wrestling being shitty now, stuff like Bret Hart saying they're just actors pretending to be wrestlers. There's too bouncy and flippy. It just looks really, really fake, and it's hard to watch. And like it's hard for me to suspend my disbelief at the very least. Like I'm supposed to believe this is a legitimate sporting contest. But I hope storyline wise they develop a little bit better and they start turning heads, because I want this competition to grow. I want it to get fierce and heated between them, because I'd love to see something like the Attitude Era again, not in the same sense where they're super edgy or whatever, but just when they're clashing and becoming super competitive. Because like, you know, back in the day, like the IWC, you guys, I can't imagine what social media would be like back during the Attitude Era. It'd be, you know, it'd be like the Call of Duty 2 lobbies back on Xbox 360. It'd be pretty fierce and it'd be a lot of shit going down. But I remember as a kid, we talked to our friends, and some guys loved WCW more and WWF. We would talk crap to each other, but it wasn't hated or wasn't heated.
We go on the internet. WCW die.
Yeah. We were just like, oh, our product is better. Well, we had a really good match here. It's like, oh god, they're right. That was a fucking good match, you know. And we would watch both. As much shit as we talk, we still watched both. But now I feel like if I say, well, this guy, you know, I don't think Stephanie back here should win the women's title. I get back, well, you should kill yourself.
On a life. On a life.
No, they said the other thing, but
yeah, but I think the point is the one other point is that this will actually make AEW better if they embrace the competition as well, right? If they embrace and say, okay, you know what, now we have to work 10 times harder during our television shows to get people motivated to spend $50, because guess what? Like I told you before, I'm actually starting to kind of turn the corner and wanting to watch AEW more, just because I want to see what's going on and kind of catch up. Because ever since Punk left, I just completely tuned out AEW, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it another fair shot. But if they can motivate people to purchase the pay-per-views and get 100,000 buys against WrestlePalooza, I think that's a win. I think AEW needs to move into the model of what WWE's been doing. I think their new deal should have just been, hey, you know what? Everything's on Max, except for their TV shows, right? Like all their pay-per-views should just be on Max, right? And just do it that way. And then you get some real competition. You know, that's some real competition, right? You know, put those pay-per-views head to head and see who wins, right? You know, and they're on streaming and go toe to toe. And now you got people. Well, I've got multiple monitors on my computer, but I'll have SummerSlam and All In on each monitor. I'm game.
I mean, that'd be a first. Like, is this the first time it's ever happened where two rival companies are having a major show on pay-per-view or PLE at the same time?
Well, not since probably the 80s or the 90s.
I can't really think of any. I'm totally shocked. But you're right about the competition. Something though, competitive wise, I want to talk to somebody, any of the wrestling fans who go to these live events and pay money to see this. Okay, they have not even announced a fucking card for WrestlePalooza, and yet look at these ticket prices. Are you out of your fucking mind? $6,000 for one seat of a one-night event? How many kidneys are people selling to go see WWE today? And people are buying them. These arenas aren't empty. They're filling these seats somehow. People are going to these events and they're paying this kind of why? Well, who are you?
So I don't have exact figures, but I think that as WrestleMania starting around, I want to say 23, as it's become a more, grand event, that going to these shows is now more of a um kind of like the Fire Festival, right? Where it's like it's not about going to see the show, it's about taking pictures of you at the show so you can post it on your Instagram. Um, and also, I think the operating costs of WWE have skyrocketed. Like the wrestlers are making more money. They have and honestly, because they can, and it's pretty clear they're filling the seats up. So why not charge more, right? I mean, I'm like a buddy of mine asked me, "Hey, you like wrestling? I think about taking my kid to see the Raw in Sacramento. You want to come with your kids?" And I says, "Yeah, let's take a look." And then we looked at the tickets and we're like, nosebleeds are $150 in Sacramento for a Raw where we're not guaranteed to get the best wrestling matches. We passed.
Of course you would pass. Like, look, we've been to. I wore this shirt specifically for today. Look, this is my No Way Out 2008 shirt. We went. It was in Las Vegas. We went and we paid $300 each for floor seats with the commemorative chair for a pay-per-view event, and it was fantastic. One of the best shows I've been to. And I've been to a handful, but it was a very fun night and I had a great time. But it was $300 for that seat, and even the front row seat was still that same price. We were in the front. I think we were like 6 or 7 rows back, but it was still, there were still great seats, and we had a good time. Not fucking $6,000. I don't think there's a show they've done or could do that would make me pay $6,000 to see it. Even the closest thing would be a WrestleMania, because WrestleMania, you're expecting a spectacle. It's an event. It's like the event of events. It's the pinnacle production. Usually, even when I was not into wrestling, I was not watching the product, I still had the WWE network because I wanted to watch old shows, watch pay-per-views and things like that. I would still watch WrestleMania because I said, okay, something cool is going to happen because it's WrestleMania. And I'd always get a good time out of it. But this price gouging is insane. Allegedly, tickets on sale right now for next year's Mania, and the seats are like 50 grand. So who's selling their car to go see a WWE show for just two nights?
Like, they're using flex pay on their credit cards, man. People are making payments on their DoorDash meals now, bro.
Oh my, this is insane. If you
No,
guys
you're
leave a comment below if you've gone to any of these shows and have spent more than $300, because let's count them down. We went to SummerSlam 05. We went to Royal Rumble 07. We went to One Night Stand 2006. We went to No Way Out 2008, and we went to Judgment Day 2006. Those are some of the most awesome shows we've been to. They're all pay-per-views, great atmospheres. We paid, the only one we didn't pay $300 for was Judgment Day, because we were sitting in the back. I think we paid like $50 or $60 for the seats.
There were $75 for one level up in the US Airways Arena, and there were good seats.
Yeah, we had a great time, and that was a fun night. There is not a show they could put on today, even if you told me right now, Luis, it's gonna be Punk and Rhodes at WrestleMania, you're gonna want to be there and get their tickets. No, for $50,000. I think even the nosebleeds are like $1,000. I still wouldn't pay that. Like, I've seen the video footage of the people in those nosebleed seats. It's not great. I get a better view sitting at home. I'd rather chill with my boys. Remember us watching WrestleMania 24 on our couch? That was a great fucking time. But this is crazy. This is not a model I don't think they can keep up. They're bleeding their whales out. And even if their product was the best of the best, they keep raising prices because they think people will keep paying them. And I don't think they can sustain that.
Well, they kind of have to, because see, remember when Endeavor bought UFC, and then all of a sudden their pay-per-views went from, $50-$60 to $80-$90. Remember they paid 7.7 billion or whatever they paid for to purchase WWE. So they've got to kind of make that investment back. They kind of, and even though they got some money from Netflix and they got some money from ESPN, they also their operating costs have gone up because as inflation's gone up, and so you have to take that into consideration. But they're still selling those tickets now. I remember WrestleMania 41 tickets not selling out. I don't think the event was a sellout. Um, and they're not going to, but see, they don't have to. They don't have to sell out their show. They could just sell 80, 90% of their tickets and they're sitting pretty.
I
But
remember when was the Rumble in Phoenix? A couple of years ago, right?
The one that you went to?
No. Recently, the big stadium they did in the Super Bowl, the football stadium. I don't remember which one it was. I remember seeing like the day of the Rumble happening. I saw something in my Facebook feed if you wanted to go see the Rumble for free because they didn't sell out all the tickets. Yeah,
they papered the house.
They had to because I mean, think about it. The tickets were so expensive. I was trying to go see a TNA show. It was in Phoenix like a couple months ago. It was the show I told you about in June.
Yeah.
And the tickets for the front row, like any of those rows, were like $150 to $100. And I was like, okay, that's a decent seat. It's a small, intimate arena. It's gonna have a good time. And I checked the day before, and they hadn't there was still like half the house left. And I checked the day before the event, and there was still half the house left. So I was trying to figure out, can I go see the show for free so I don't have to pay? Like, I feel like in the same sense, like, why don't you roll the dice and say, look how expensive these tickets are. What if I just go to the event and keep my fingers crossed that they'll just let me in for free because I don't have to pay it like they did in the old WCW days. But this is crazy. I know you're saying they have to afford this, but this is a classic tactic of when investment firms purchase big companies. They look for the quickest way to make a buck. They bleed them out, and right when they're about to bottom out, they sell the company and wipe their hands clean of it because they can claim the losses on their taxes and not have to sweat it. But I hate to see this happen to one of my most favorite companies of all time, and I feel terrible knowing that there's not enough value in the product that I can't take my son to go see an event.
And that's exactly what I'm literally looking at Ticketmaster, and the nosebleeds are $99 right now in Sacramento, and that's not really a great seat. That's not a good experience to take your kid. And I honestly think that my dream of attending a WrestleMania is officially dead. I don't know if I'm actually, maybe if my kids want to go and I can convince my wife to let me buy tickets for the kids and just, bite the bullet and
Mortgage
spend
your
the money.
house and sell your car.
Yeah, exactly, right. And to go see us, maybe, but the problem is that you don't know how good the show's going to be to invest that kind of money just for one day when you could just sit on your couch and get have fun with your friend. Like I said, I had even the one. There was two shows that I think that well, there was three shows that I went to that were just as fun as hanging out with the guys eating pizza. It was SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and ECW. Like ECW One Night Stand was like the best live event I've ever been to in my life. Like
agree.
I like that honestly. Like if you told me if you asked me to pay, if they asked me, says, hey, I'll give you $5,000. Give me $5,000 and I'll send you in a time machine to go back there. I'd pay it. Would you?
Yes, because it was the most fun night of wrestling I've ever had. It wasn't about the matches that night. It was about being in that crowd.
It was about the experience.
And you know what? I remember something. I lied. We did not pay $300 for those tickets because those tickets were $250.
Yeah, the one night stand tickets were
even
$250.
cheaper. Can you believe that? But you know what? I think you said something. I figured out the actual scam. This is a classic tactic. I mentioned this before. They overcharge something to make you buy something else where you see the value. Why go to a live event and pay $6,000, Angelo, when you can pay $30 to watch it at home?
They got me.
There's the hook.
Hook, line, and sinker.
They got us both.
But remember, we were paying $50 to watch WrestleMania. And then remember, every now and then we'd buy like a SummerSlam or a No Mercy or something, or in the Royal Rumble. So we're still getting a good value.
We can't go back, okay? We were paying $10 a month for everything, and now you want us to go back to paying $50? Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't drink it midnight.
It's also, but see, WWE Network was all WWE. Like for instance, I showed I showed my dad the ESPN app. I'm like, hey, you get Spanish La Liga now. Like I get everything. It's not just WWE anymore.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'll be tuning in on this event. I'm very curious to see what they do. I hope. I mean, we have Clash in Paris coming up soon. Was it next week? Clash in Paris, and then this is 3 weeks right after. Oh God, I hope they don't do ECW December to December vibes here, because that'll be a rough transition if they don't start stockpiling this. But that looks like all the time we have for this episode, boys and girls. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, if you guys liked what we do here, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Helps keep us motivated and going. Also, if you have any questions for us, you want us to answer live during the show, send us an email over at winspodcastlive@gmail.com. Really appreciate you guys being on here tonight, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.